that Russia is practicing something in Ukraine. They're at war with Ukraine, so they can get away with things there that they can't elsewhere. For 3 years, they've attacked every sector of Ukrainian society, from businesses to government agencies. They've destroyed all this government data. They've paralyzed the transportation systems. And then finally, they took down the power grid twice, which has never happened anywhere else in the world. The second time, they used a piece of automated malware to do that, which is a sign that they will probably want to use that again. That looked like a kind of practice round to develop the capability that they wanted to have to use globally.
Right. And I think a lot of people here who think about cyber attacks, they know that the grid is definitely a target. But I mean, the reality, based on what you've seen in Ukraine, is that what was done there could be done here, and even to worse effect.
Well, yeah, this piece of malware, which we call Crash Override, that was used in late 2016 to take down the power grid in the Ukrainian capital of Kiev, it actually has these modular components that you can swap out to adapt it from the Ukrainian equipment to American equipment, for instance, or to other parts of Europe. And it seemed to have this little component as well that might be used to actually cause physical damage to the grid. That's the kind of real nightmare scenario that we've been worried about for more than a decade, that the grid can be not just disrupted, but parts of it could be destroyed in a way that would have a lasting effect.
And I don't think people realize that parts of the grid, I mean, for instance, transformers. You destroy a transformer takes years to build. They don't keep spare transformers on the back shelf at Con Ed just in case it gets destroyed. I mean, you can use a cyber attack and cause that physical damage, which then could have far-reaching implications.
That's right. These transformers are multi-million-dollar pieces of equipment. They're often custom-made. Sometimes they're made in China, and we have some backup ones, but probably we don't have all of the ones we need. If you start to destroy equipment, we could start to see not just hours of blackout as we did in these Ukrainian examples, but potentially days or weeks even.
Wow, so potentially days or weeks without electric power. Now, a lot of you guys have been in storms or hurricanes or nor'easters like just hit the East Coast, or tornadoes, and you have been without power for days or weeks. And one of the things that we want to bring to you guys on our channel is ways that you can actually live without power and not only survive, but thrive. So when you come to our channel, Off Grid with Doug and Stacy, yeah, we live without solar powers, no wind turbines. We live in the Midwest in a log cabin that we built ourselves. We grow a lot of our own food. We collect rainwater from the sky, and we harvest it, and we bring it on into our house. It's all gravity fed, no pumps, no power, no problem. So our whole philosophy when we left grid life and we left, living in the crowded cities, was we wanted to become as self-sufficient as possible, which would also include our electricity needs. So we do run a small generator. We use the truck PowerPoint on our vehicle, but I want to tell you guys this: we have a horse and buggy. We use a horse and buggy. When we first got here, we were plowing with a team of Belgians that I learned how to do from scratch. I'd never had any experience with that before. Matter of fact, I'll leave a link right there for you guys to check it out. But then we moved on to a no-till garden where we can just plant our stuff, no-till, and we also create our own compost here. So we're developing and putting into practice and putting into place all of our systems, so no matter what happens to the grid, my wife and I will be pretty much self-sufficient. We'll be able to shut the front gate and live a very comfortable lifestyle. So hopefully you guys are watching these off-grid channels, or maybe even these homestead channels, and hopefully that you're actually writing this stuff down, saving money, trying to purchase items that are going to make your life a lot easier so you can become proactive instead of reactive. And hopefully you're not just watching these videos just for like this entertainment purpose. Of course we want to entertain you, but at the same time we want to educate you, and we want you guys to be prepared for something like this if it were to happen. And it's, our systems are so vulnerable. Yeah, we have our government, and they're trying every day, they're thwarting attacks, but eventually something might just get through. So we want you guys to stay vigilant and stay prepared, get your systems in place, and save up for your wood cook stove so you can heat with wood, so you don't get cold, so you don't freeze, and so you can cook your food There's a video right there about the All-American Sun Oven that doesn't rely on any electricity, and even if an EMP went off, your All-American Sun Oven is going to still dehydrate food. It's still going to cook your food for you, and you're going to be a lot more self-sufficient. So while you're watching these off-grid videos and while you're watching all these homesteader videos of people growing your food, please just don't get all caught up in the romantic part of it. Please understand that we are presenting you guys with common sense ways that you can be more self-sufficient, more self-reliant, just in case anything happens. If the food system gets messed up, that's one of the first things they do in any kind of warfare is they disrupt the supply chains. So food systems in America are very, very fragile. As a matter of fact, let's watch this clip.
What is called an electromagnetic pulse attack on the United States. 2 satellites already orbiting above America. According to Dr. Peter Vincent Pry, he's the executive director of the Task Force on National and Homeland Security, warning a satellite with a nuclear payload could potentially just tear up, destroy the U.S. power grid. And joining us tonight is Dr. Pry. He is also the Chief of Staff of the Congressional EMP Commission. Dr. Pry, great to have you with us. This is, I think, for most Americans, a true revelation that the North Koreans actually have satellites that they've put into orbit that could be used as an EMP weapon.
Well, the EMP Commission has been trying to warn about this for some years, ever since 2012. Articles have been written, including by my colleague on the EMP Commission, Jim Woolsey, former CIA director.
Right.
And occasionally they get published in the Wall Street Journal, but most of the media has pretty much ignored this story.
Well, we have joined you now, and you have got our attention, I assure you. How realistic is this threat in your judgment? These 2 satellites, they are circumnavigating at low Earth orbit. I think many Americans would be surprised to learn that the North Koreans have that capacity.
Well, it's such a serious threat that we have recommended that these satellites be shot down because it's too great a risk to take. We don't know if they're nuclear armed, but if they are nuclear armed, just one of these satellites, if they've got a super EMP weapon in them, which we think the North Koreans have probably got, could destroy the U.S. electric grid, not just for a temporary blackout, but a blackout that could last months. We only have enough food to feed the American people for about 30 days, and the EMP Commission estimates that if a blackout lasted 1 year, and an EMP attack could do that, it could cause a protracted blackout lasting more than a year. We could lose millions of people to starvation, disease, and societal collapse. An EMP attack is a high-tech means of killing people the old-fashioned way, through starvation, disease, and societal collapse.
So as you can see, even an EMP that could be released by North Korea could take out large portions of the grid, and also, we only have about a 30-day food supply for people in America. Can you imagine how many people don't grow their own food or don't have any food stores in a root cellar or in their basement? What kind of chaos that's going to bring about if anyone was ever actually successful in taking down our grid system. So one of the things that we hope you guys do as you're watching these channels on YouTube is not just watch them for the entertainment value, but also keep your eyes out. Like, what are they doing? Like, what systems are in place? How are they doing it without electricity? How are they growing their own food? Gardening season is right upon us. Make sure you guys are trying to plant some seeds yourself, and also that you're watching and you're taking notes and you're learning how to become more self-sufficient on producing your own food. So even if you don't have a ton of space, you can produce food, large quantities of food in small areas. There's square foot gardeners, and there's so many books and material out there for you guys to grab hold of. And so Stacy and I, we were just kind of talking about this idea of the grid going down. There was some news coming out about Russia and hacking and all this stuff. I mean, we're in a place that no one has ever been in before in history, with all this interconnectivity and these computers and these systems that are that can be employed to actually cause us harm. So, you know, I also read somewhere that like probably 99% of Americans have never been in complete darkness, right? You've always had street lights, house lights, your cell phone lights, the lights in your car. You know, whenever it gets dark outside, lots of lights, lots of lights. And can you just imagine like living in total darkness because the grid has been compromised and there's nothing going on? I mean, that is really going to freak a lot of people out. If you're, you know, sensitive to heat or to cold, you know, you might want to think about how are you going to handle that if the grid goes down. Let's say you're on a CPAP machine or something like that. How are you going to manage that if the grid goes down? So this is kind of a different video for us. I normally don't do these kind of videos, but you guys, I think that you're watching a lot of these videos and you're getting caught up on how cute the kids are and how neat everything is, and you're missing the points of how people are actually living without electricity, or maybe even living on solar panels. But I will let you guys know, and on a dirty little secret about solar panels, if an EMP goes off, your solar panels are going to be worth nothing. You're not going to be able to live off solar panels because an EMP will take them out. So I just want you guys to keep that in mind. Solar panels are not the end-all be-all. They're a nice crutch. They're nice to have, you know, to be a little more self-sufficient. But, you know, if it really got serious and an EMP made it over from North Korea, as you heard in that previous clip, those are absolutely not going to do you any good whatsoever. So like us, we've decided to take the pioneer life in the 21st century route, and we're basically living without electricity, and we're showing you guys our lives pretty much daily, man. We post videos almost every single day, and we have been for 24 months, and we're hopefully getting through to you guys on how you can live a more self-sufficient life. Now, the only thing about us is that if the grid goes down or an EMP goes off, it really doesn't move the needle for us, because the only reason why we use electricity or the grid anyway is so we can post these videos to help educate you guys. So we just want you guys to try to get into a place where if something like this happens, you are going to be more prepared. You know, we want you to be proactive instead of reactive. Remember when we went to the Bahamas and we spoke to that young man about how he had been without power for 2 months, and we told his story, and that was one of the ways he found us, is because he started searching YouTube and stuff once the power came back on, and he wanted to learn how he could be more proactive, you know, in case this ever happens again, which is inevitable to happen because he lives in the Caribbean and there's hurricanes there all the time, every year. They have hurricane season, so it's just a matter of time before it happens again. Or just like now, we have friends that live on the East Coast, and they had 3 nor'easters come through. A lot of people are without power there. And for us, you know, this is tornado area. We have tornadoes, not really that much here, but we could occasionally get one. But you know, Oklahoma, eastern or western Missouri, Arkansas, you know, all these kind of places are susceptible to that. And of course, if you live along the coast, a hurricane at any time could disrupt your power. Just a drunk driver in your neighborhood could take out the power to your house. So we hopefully that you guys are watching Off Grid with Doug and Stacy, so you can get the tips and tricks that we try to share with you guys, so you can live your life without power. We get a lot of emails from people, and they say, yeah, we turned off the power for a week. We turned off the power for 2 days, then we went to 4 days, and then we tried for a week. And so they're basically conditioning themselves so that if the power were to go out, they would be able to thrive and not just survive. Just like, you know, you do fire drills in schools and in your house, and you want to make sure that everyone knows the procedure, how we're going to get to point A, from point A to point B, and you know, where we're going to meet up and all that kind of a stuff. It's the same thing you guys should be doing at your residences, because you guys have heard this. I'm not just, you know, a person bringing this to you guys, no doom and gloom or anything, but you guys have heard how fragile our power grid system is. So while these systems are in place, while you can watch these videos, while you can gather this information, while you have a job and everything's functioning normally, make sure you're putting systems in place for yourself, for your family, because the family is your responsibility. And make sure you have all this stuff in place, and you know, you're keeping it in the back of your mind. I don't want you living in fear. That's not what we're talking about. But I don't want you to have your head in the sand either. So make sure when you're watching our videos that you're looking around, how are we doing things, and then you're slowly starting to implement those things. We get a lot of emails from people who say they're leaving their city life and they're going to start living off grid and they're going to start growing their own food, and we think that's fantastic. So we're not saying that that's for everybody, but even if you live in the city, you can put systems in place where you can be more self-sufficient and more guarded in case something like this happens in your neck of the woods. So don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Hey guys, thanks for watching our video. You might want to check out these videos.
And if you want to become a Homestead homie, click the picture of us below.
We will see you tomorrow.